Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with you. That's the whole thing. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw those emotes in as well. Let me know you're here. If you're not a subscriber, well, you could just be like, hi, or hey, or another emote, do a universal emote or emote from another stream you support. We got Dude Wants His Rug here, who tweeted emotes before I could. We've got Lashbrook. We have JM. Already, we have a killer crew of people in the chat. Right now, we are doing great. We can only do better. But is that imaginable? It is, because, there might be more folks that want to join us. But right as it is right now, this is a killer crew. Hello, Lashbrook. Hello, JM. Hello, Dude Wants His Rug. Hello to the other people watching that have not said hi in the chat yet. If you haven't, that's okay. Reminder, if you're currently a subscriber, use your Twitch coin with Twitch Prime. You got to manually renew that. If you're also up for renewal, make sure that you hit that notification button so we know, because you're also going to be sharing emotes because it's still the holiday season and there's some emotes you can share. Thank you so much for being here. I very much appreciate it. Also, I should point out and mention that channel points are a thing. As we kind of wait for people to come in to watch the stream, let me tell you about channel points. You'll see that below send a message. As you watch, you earn points, and subscribers earn more, and you can unlock those points for things. Those things are... you can get a random one of my emotes if you're not a subscriber. And you can do a random one, or you can choose one of the three. You can ask me a question that I must answer. I put that in because I thought that would be fun and stir conversation. Now, that answer might be none of your business, but I'll still honor it. And then you can modify an emote, which is, right now, you can put like a Santa hat on an emote, which is kind of fun. So yeah, I can modify, because I get unlimited, so I can do this. I put a Santa hat on my emote. That's fun. It doesn't look perfect, but whatever. But also there's a thing where you can highlight your message. Now, the normal setting for that is way too low. I have adjusted it, and it's probably still too low. Because chats that are much more, a lot of more viewers, those things, I've seen it already, people abusing that, and that's not cool. So we don't want that. So I might increase that to more if it becomes a thing. But also, I don't think that's going to be a problem because y'all are not a problem. It would only be people coming into the stream to be annoying, and we don't really get that around here, which is awesome. We're working on the Quanta. I have had asked questions going like, why do you call it that? Because that's what it's called. Even though it is QANT in brackets. It's Quanta. I don't know. Anime. Or more to the point, creatives. What are you going to do? Ultron's here. Hi, Ultron. Ultron says, the bear train stops at nothing. Choo choo, motherfuckers. We're gonna go. This will be my second to last stream here in New York for a bit. I will be streaming tonight until 11 p.m. Eastern, as always, and then it will be time for exclamation point pizza. I'm gonna get some pizza. Maybe I'll get pizza later. Well, the answer is actually yes. I will be getting pizza later. So that's gonna happen later. And then Saturday I'm going to stream. And then on Sunday I'm going to get on a plane and go to South Carolina. Now, will I stream from South Carolina? Hopefully. Maybe. Possibly. I would like to imagine that I will. It all depends on if the new internet, the new modem, the new router my folks got, apparently they got a booster on their line. Maybe that will allow me to stream. I do not know. I cannot say. I can make no guarantee. Ultron throwing in all kinds of emotes. That's rad. Um, I should mention bits and coins also unlock the ability to gift over. If you do over a certain number, you can also gift some emotes to people. We don't have a lot. We don't have a big number tonight. Viewership has been down in December. That's a bummer. January of this year was when we started the uptick as folks began to support the channel. When I announced my upcoming unemployment, folks kind of came out of the woodwork, and we had some of our busiest months and our biggest viewerships. And this month has been less than that. I'm going to do a little retweet. The biggest thing is that, like, last night I wanted to do some Jackbox, and we just didn't have the numbers. Was I streaming earlier than normal? Yes. Do I wish that more people had been able to come and play so we could have played Jackbox? Yes. Did I have fun doing Twitch Sings? You bet your ass I did. We sang some songs. I tried some songs that are not in my range, and I probably shouldn't have done. But I also sang some songs that were very fun, and I was happy I got to do it. So it worked out pretty well. You got to sing new music. Yes, I did get to sing some new songs, and I was happy to do that. Let's go to the overhead. Let's start building. Maybe we won't have big numbers tonight. Maybe there'll be a influx of people coming. I don't know. I can't say. All I can do is build model kits and adjust my overhead because it fell a little bit, and I want to see. So we got through the chest here. We are working on the head. We have the drive. I show this off just because it looks cool. This is for the drive that's in here. You could put LED lights in it. We didn't do that. Not worried about that. But you can also take it out and store it. But we're going to leave it in because the backpack, you need this for the backpack. So we'll leave it. We've got our head here, which we put some work into. We got a sticker on it. But we got to keep going. So we'll put that off so people can see it. What we're working on. And we'll work on the head here. Hey, you get to hear this thing that happened to me. So, as you are aware, because I will talk about it, I am in the process of looking for part-time, contract, or full-time employment. Anything. I'm going away for a week. That has made things a little difficult. Also, people are not hiring contract work right now. It looked like I was going to have a gig this week. That gig unfortunately fell through, which was a real bummer. But I looked like I was going to have a thing set up for January, maybe. It was a contract gig. It was for a couple months, and it was technical work. It was installation of software, working on upgrading a computer system. I got recommended for it. I'm right for it. I can do the job. And I was interested in the job. Installations, it was late nights and early mornings, basically like working. It would have been steady work for a couple months. I would have been able to stream and then relax and then go in to work. So that would have been interesting. And but it would have been fine. And I was like, okay, yeah, all right. And I'm, listening about it and hearing about it, and it sounds fine and stuff I can do. But, I ask about the job and if there'll be an instruction period. Oh, Solf just subscribed to Tier 1. That's 8 months. Woo, Solf, thank you so much. And also, and it got some emotes. So let's throw the Bear Cave emote in there. And then apparently people got to get the stuff. Also, Solf, hello. You should please check your whispers because we have not seen you. At the last stream in November, you won my monthly giveaway. So, Solf, please check your whispers because I messaged you Uh, and it's okay that you haven't checked it, but yeah, I want to mail you a thing. I want to send you a thing. Um, so I sent you a Whisper. You won the Lego Y Wing, which I built on stream, and I basically I was going to wait and see if you got the message. If not, I was going to do a double giveaway in the end of January or end of December. But I was hoping you would check that. So please check that. Please check your Whispers. See that I sent you a message. Let me know. I am still in New York and can go and mail you a thing without a problem today or tomorrow or tomorrow or Saturday. Otherwise, I can wait until I get back from my from South Carolina because I'm not going to put it on the plane with me and mail it from South Carolina. So please check your messages. So this gig, right? We're talking, and I'm like, so somewhere I'm gonna go to I'm gonna look at a page here. I'll look at my own page because I'm on the dashboard, so I can't give you that information. But oop. So if you look below the screen, if you're on the app, you watch Chrome or Firefox or Safari or whatever. Your main window view at the bottom there should be a little thing that looks like a window, like a chat thing next to the chat. I can't properly describe it. Does anybody else? You see it? Okay, good. But that's your Whispers thing. Whispers is generally how I communicate with folks when they win that aren't. Sometimes they're in the chat and they know, but you don't have to be in the chat to win. So I don't always do that. But yeah, that's the thing. I sent you a message. Please reply to that at your convenience. So all right. So this job thing, right? We're talking, and I'm like, okay, is there training or whatever? And I mentioned that, and they say, cool, yeah. Actually, if you're around on Friday, this was, we started this conversation on Tuesday or Wednesday, Tuesday. If you're around on Friday, you could come in and visit us at another at another job thing. We're doing this, and you can come and see it. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Because it was described to me not like it's not a training day. They wanted me to take time out of my day and go to a place. And it wasn't like, come by, we'll talk to you about some stuff, whatever. It was literally described as, come hang out, join the crew in installation, and we'll see if you're a good fit. And it'll be a couple hours. And yes, do I need work? 100%. Do I need to do free labor in order to get that work? Absolutely not. And so I said, like, hey, I'm actually not available that day. If there's things I can read, if there's YouTube tutorials, if you think I'll be okay on my own, that's fine. And he was like, okay, well, Friday doesn't work. Any day next week will be fine. Just come in, like, an hour after they start and just work till you don't want to anymore, and you'll get a sense of what the job is like. And we'll get an idea if we want to continue working. And you can come in literally. This is the information we had today. You can literally do it as much as you'd like. So that's not going to happen. Like, basically, it is in their court if they want to hire me as a contracted employee to come in and do the job. If I was coming in as a part-time employee, perhaps I would. I would say, sure, let's do this thing. if I was coming in as a part time, perhaps. Uh, yeah, maybe work for free all day if you want, says Jam, and Ultron says, what a deal. But really, what it comes down to is just that I was like, if I was trying to be professional in my offer to say like, hey, is there anything I should be reading? Is there any tutorials? Is there any information you can give me? Like, I'm just trying to be professional about this to make sure that I don't show up and waste people's time and waste my own time not getting it. I don't want to show up to a place at 12:30 in the morning to do some work and then find out I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and nobody wants to tell me. They just want to be mad. So I don't want that. I've done that before. I've shown up to a place thinking it was one thing and finding out it was another. So I'm not gonna do that. Look, am I turning down this job? No. It's a contract gig. I don't have to care about it. I just show up and do it. But I'm definitely not working for free to make sure that I get it. So, not doing that. Because, like, you know, when I first described it, I can understand if you were like, well, Pat, I don't, like, it actually doesn't seem that bad. It doesn't seem like that. But it was that thing where, like, the more information I've been getting, the more I'm like, oh, you really do expect me to work for free for a while if I can. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you want me to work for free? Why wouldn't you try to get me? Where'd that sticker go? I literally just lost a sticker. How did I lose that sticker, y'all? How did I lose that sticker? I had it on this. Did it? Nobody noticed. I don't know how that happened, but I literally just lost a sticker. Okay. Well, I'm going to put this on. Check the tape. Yeah. I got this one on this side. I had it on here, and I went to apply it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, it is upside down, so you can't see it. It is right here. I found it. It fell sticky side up, so I couldn't. It was the same color as the paper, but I found it. I'm going to put it right here. Solf, I just noticed that it stood out. It just happened to stand out a little bit. Also, Solf, when you have a moment, no rush. You replied with your address, which is rad. Please also include your name, because I don't know it. Or you can just do your first initial and your last name if you feel like that. That is a thing. No, Solf, legitimately, 100%, not 100%. I would say 75% of folks that like have won this are like, here, oh, great, here is my address. And maybe I know their first name because like we've tweeted back and forth or their name is in their username, but like most people completely forget that, and it's just because like it's no big deal. But yeah, great. I will either mail that out on Friday, tomorrow, or on Saturday, depending. I do have a lot to do on Saturday, so I'm going to try to get to the post office tomorrow. All right. We got our stickers on. We got our face plates on. That sticker was rough, but we did it. Okay. Now we're going to put more headpieces on here. C3. So anyway, it's not a scam because this company, like I haven't worked with them directly, but I've worked with people through them before, and this kind of work is, yeah, I hope you enjoy it, Solf. It is a very cool kit. So I had a little honey for me. What was I gonna say? So years and years ago, I I did some contract work, right, for a temp agency. I worked for a temp agency, and it was fine and it was easy stuff. Um, and one year, I went in for a company, and I was like doing some stuff where they were they were moving, so they had an operation starting up, and then they had uh, a bunch of people in the regular old office still working and whatever. And so we got hired to work in the old office because there were people a lot. It was they were still short staffed because other people were setting up, and it was like photocopying big booklets for a law firm because now I can't tell you what it's like in 2019, but I can tell you that in 2004 people weren't sending Google Docs or PDFs. They were sending literal printed documents. And a lot of people's jobs are that work in law firms was to do that like that. But sometimes not like one person needs 50 pages. 30 people need 50 pages. And so then they turn to an outside group to do that. So I worked in a company that did that as a temp, right? Because they were short staffed because other people were doing other things. Fine, no big deal, easy enough, fine enough job. A couple months later, they're like, hey, would you want to do this for us and not go through the temp agency? Which, hello, Duck, welcome. Which, let me tell you right now, sometimes you want to say, yeah, I'll do that. And sometimes you want to say, no, I got to stick with my temp agency. You don't owe the temp agency anything. But also, sometimes when they find out, they hate it. Thank you for the follow, Duck. I appreciate that. Temp agencies generally, unless they are a staffing agency that are looking to place you, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Get a little holiday spirit going. But temp agencies generally don't like it when you make a deal to work for a company that they have used to staff because they're not cutting you in. So they're like, hey, what are you doing? So this company says, hey, we liked you. Would you be interested in doing some work for us? It would be contract work very similar to what you did before. And I want to stress, this company, this is 2004, says very similar. And I'm like, okay, very similar. So I get there. Is it the photocopying work that I did before? No. It's moving. I am helping them finish their move. And I am carrying boxes into vans and then riding in that van and then unloading boxes. And they have hired me to be a mover. And they are paying me to be a photocopier. And I did it for one day. And then I was like, hey, I'm not coming in tomorrow. And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, you're definitely not going to pay me mover prices. I'm not a mover. If I was a mover, you'd be paying me a lot more. And they were like, yeah, I mean, it's very similar to what you did before. I'm like, no, it's absolutely not. So I'm not going to do that. Because, fine, you want to hire me as a mover? Sure. You pay me as a mover to do that job. That way I will be dressed not in a dress shirt and tie to be a mover. I would have worn a t-shirt and jeans to move. Sweatpants, perhaps. I don't know. Probably not sweatpants. Duck, I mostly stream Gunpla and Lego sets. I do 3 streams a week, 2 hours at a time, about 6 hours total. So we'll do another hour and a half tonight of model kit building. And then usually once a week, in this case it was last night, I'll do something else. Sometimes it is things like playing Jackbox games with chat, Or last night I did Twitch Sings, which is a karaoke app, um, and I'll do that now and again, just as like just a little extra, just a little something extra to do, so that I can keep streaming. But I am primarily a build streamer, as I said, Gunpla and Lego. We haven't done Lego in a bit, but we're mostly works from the Gundam series because that is what people purchase and stuff I look at. But I've also done lots of Dragon Ball kits. This year we did my first. I did my first ever glue kit. I did the 86 from Initial D, which was my first time working with liquid cement. I'd done as a kid. I did Lego set. I did like glue sets. But this was the first time like working with liquid cement and doing all that. And that was a challenge. It was a cool challenge, but it was a challenge. That's what you're looking for. Cool. Well, the Build with Baer is a pretty chill community. I wouldn't say that we're like, excessive amounts of viewership, but we always have a pretty consistent viewership. Good conversations, certainly. Cool crew of folks watching and hanging out. The second hour of every stream, after I take a pause where I kind of like talk about ways people can support the stream if they'd like to, which will be coming up at the 10 o'clock hour Eastern time. After that, I always talk about the anime that I've watched since the last build stream, because I am an anime watcher and an anime discusser. So I'll do that. We talk about stuff that's going on. Right now I'm talking about my job search and some of that weirdness, but we'll talk about other things. This is a big pop culture, spoiler-free zone, small pop culture, discussion zone. And I'm trying to like get better at describing that for people properly, because I think my point is across. So like, I'm going to tell you how high school prodigies have it easy even in this world ended. I might be vague with it, but I'm going to talk about this show that I don't think a lot of people are watching, and I'm okay with kind of like talking around and talking about. But, if you went to the movie premiere, if you saw a movie premiere tonight or tomorrow, let's be cool about that big pop culture movie. That's kind of what we go for around here, because we're nice people having a good time. Is that the hope is that we're not like gonna, so, but that's the kind of thing like I'm not here for big spoilers. And like I did have somebody in the chat, or somebody messaged me who watches the YouTube archives of this, that said like, hey, I'm going to be behind on My Hero. Could you not talk about anything really specific about My Hero Academia season 2, or this new season, I should say. And I won't talk about them unless it's okay. I was like, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, Duck, right? So like, yeah, like I said with My Hero, somebody reached out and was like, hey, could you not talk about specifics, because I'm going to get caught up and I want to watch the stream. And I'd much rather have someone watch the stream than say like, holy shit, this one thing that happened in My Hero. Suffice to say, this season of My Hero Academia, it's pretty great. And I'm generally of the mind that like, let's just be cool and be chill with each other, and like, I don't get to the movies that often. You're too far ahead. Yeah. Well, when we talk about, because I'll give a preview, I'm going to talk about a thing that happened okay, so which one? We've got 2 crowns to look at. So we'll look at both crowns and kind of figure out which one we'll choose here. We got A16. So later I'll talk about Black Clover. And I'm going to talk about a thing that happened in Black Clover that I have known about for a while. Do I wish I knew about it? No. Was I annoyed that someone on Twitter was just like, "Oh, this thing? Uh, here's this thing. I'm going to tell you." And I'm like, "Come on, don't." And now it happened in the anime, and I'm like, "Cool." But that's the thing. Like, never assume people are like caught up, or that people are like reading the like. It's awesome to read the to read ahead. Be ahead because you've read the manga. That's rad. I got no problems with that. But when people were like, "Oh yeah, here's this thing that happened. Can you believe it? Here's the thing about you like this character. Well, this character does this." And it's like, meh. And as I said, we are going to get to it because I am going to talk about it. But I was still annoyed that someone months ago was like, "I'm going to tell you this important thing about a character you just confessed to really liking." Uh, but I don't know. Yeah, job stuff right now is weird because it is a weird time to be doing that. Like, not only are people like, like are people like not interested in talking about it, but they're also like not really thinking about 2020 yet. Like, some people are, but not people are like, I got reached out to someone about a thing that's happening in February, and they were like, "Let's circle back to this in January." And I'm like, when you only have a month? I mean, okay, but it feels like you shouldn't do that. It. All right, so I think we'll do this one, but it happens. I did watch Iron Blooded Orphans, Duck. That show rules. We've done quite a few of the Iron Blooded kits because the full mechanic kits are fantastic. Thanks for stopping in. I hope you can catch a stream another time. But thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Thanks for the follow. Hope you turn your notifications on so you see when I go live again. I'll be back Saturday night if you want to make some plans with us. Yeah. I put the new Master Grade, the Lupus Rex Master Grade, on my Amazon wish list? You're right. Yes, I did. It's great looking, and I've heard people are real into it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to try to get that at some point. At the very least, put it on my wish list. All right. Throwing that Bear Cave emote in there. Somebody unlocked the Bear Cave emote. Or the Lego emote, I should say. The Lego Pat. That's me. In Lego form. Done by the incredible Xandra. Xandra on Twitter. The name's so nice, she wrote it 3 times. Who I gave a little shout out to on Twitter today. So weird. I talked about 3 ladies on Twitter and how they're independent artists that people should support if they'd like to. Erica and Lena and Alexandra. For no reason did I mention those 3 ladies and why that people should support them. For no reason at all did I signal out those 3 particular ladies and how they should be supported. It wasn't because the magic writing lady said a real dumb thing on the internet. Not at all. That had no bearing on it. That the magic book lady showed her whole ass on the internet again. Ugh. Goddamn. Disappointed. That's a fun meme. Somebody was comparing the Mandalorian to the Xena Warrior Princess Hercules style of show. which I will add the woefully poorly remembered but fantastic Jack of all trades. Oh, Jack of all trades. Bruce Campbell vehicle, where the writers did not want it to be funny or fun, and Bruce Campbell definitely did, and it did not do well and is not good, but is a great idea. Jack of all trades was a late gen version of that kind of like syndicated only, shows up like maybe it's on Saturday, maybe it's on Sunday, maybe your local network doesn't have it. It's most likely shown on a network that will become UPN or WB, that will later merge to become the CW. But the basic idea is it's just the Scarlet Pimpernel. It's just the Scarlet Pimpernel. It's just a guy who's got like some wealth and like is kind of a sketchy dude who's kind of good at everything. He's a jack of all trades. Creates a super identity, an identity for himself to cause mayhem, and it's a little bit of Robin Hood, but it's mostly the Scarlet Pimpernel. Vern Troyer was Napoleon. That's right. Because so what happened was, Bruce Campbell had a recurring character on Hercules and Xena, and they wanted to do a spin-off of it. But there was some sort of, the production company didn't, Bruce did, and some writers did, but they couldn't get the spin-off permission to do it, so they weren't going to do it. So then they were like, let's just do a show like that, because you're already playing a Robin Hood-esque character. Let's just do our own fucking thing. And what they ended up with was Jack of all trades. And is it good? No. It's not good. But are those shows very fun? 100%. And I'm talking about them because I did say Disappointed, which is a very fun line from Hercules where Kevin Sorbo just reads the stage direction as a line. He just yells, "Disappointed!" as the evil version of himself. And it's really funny because he is just reading a stage direction and no one stops it, and it's in the episode, and it's great because either no one caught it or that was the best take and they were like, this show costs so much money in people falling down from getting hit by sticks and fake rocks and being launched off of trampolines that we need to move on. Oh, this is bad. Let's just go with it. We spent all our money on the camera trick that makes it look like the camera is Xena's circular throwing thing. We did too many of those shots, and now we got to do an episode that's all flashbacks. Quick, someone write a Gabrielle episode that's just her talking to people. And maybe there's one stick fight in it. Okay, great. We got one stick fight in. We can save a lot of money that way. All of those shows are now like web series. Like that's web series are those made for syndication shows, in my opinion. Or like Apple TV, like legitimately Apple TV is just making those. That like one where everyone is blind, whatever that show is, that's like millions of dollars are going to what appears to be just one of those, like an Andromeda. Just one of those, which is one of the last ones. Cleopatra 2525. People mad about the pacing in Mandalorian have Game of Thrones poisoning. I mean, Mandalorian is, like I said, in many ways. Here's the problem with Mandalorian. The problem with Mandalorian is that a popular weird The Watchmen came out, and Watchmen, while not great, and in my opinion, does not stick the landing because it's just not quite there as far as its understanding of racism and racists and how they would feel about a particular thing. It's just not quite there. But it's so good that people are like, well, this isn't Watchmen. And it's like, yeah, it's not. It's The Mandalorian. It's a like, I don't know. Like, here's the best part of The Mandalorian that keeps with it. It's just the armor is good. He's just got good armor and some good gadgets. Like, he's not great at it. And that rules. I love it. I love that he's just like, not particularly great. I don't know. I'm looking up a thing. Yeah, Cara Dune or whatever. That I couldn't remember the name of the character. Gina Carano plays Lorna. Yeah. I mean, look. It's just. It's not a great. It's a very good. What am I gonna say? Television is not the movies. And sometimes it can be better than the movies. It can do more and go different places. But at the same time, it's still television. It's still like people figuring it out and working with what they got and having fucking deadlines and making it happen and being like, like, and in many instances dealing with advertisers and putting up what they can. So like, I don't know. I give it a lot of credit for just like trying its gosh darn best to just do whatever it can. Sometimes working within constraints can be great, but also, it is often with shows like that. Like, I was just say something. I had a point. Oh yeah, Tarnakovsky's Tarkovsky's should say Clone Wars was incredible, and then the Clone Wars cartoon takes a long ass time to get great, and it does get great. Clone Wars, the animated, does get great. It just takes forever, and I think like that's the thing I want to compare The Mandalorian to is the Star Wars animated, and not like Star Wars movies. I don't know. Have you been following the promo war between Warhorse and Ophidian? I have, Lashbrook. For those that don't know, Ophidian the Cobra, Ophidian the Ouroboros, is a professional, independent professional wrestler. Warhorse is another independent professional wrestler. Warhorse wears war paint, and Warhorse's catchphrase that he has built his character around is that he rules people's asses. He is going to rule your ass. Not kick it. Rule it. He's going to rule your ass. And he cut this like very fun promo against Ophidian, the Cobra, and basically was like, I found out that snakes do have asses, and not only am I going to rule your ass, I'm going to take your skin and make a pair of boots to rule other people's asses with. Which is just wonderful nonsense. Like, even just saying it out loud, that's just nonsense. I just said a bunch of nonsense words from an independent wrestler. To which Ophidian is now like, well, I don't want him to rule my ass or make boots with my skin to rule other people's asses. Which I love, because it's like, well, I don't want to lose this match, but I also don't want to become boots, which is nonsense. So Ophidian is like wearing a different mask with the war paint on, and he is pretending to emulate Warhorse to get inside his head so that he can beat him by thinking like him. And they are just very creative, weird little promos from Ophidian, who's very good at cutting promos. He's good at it. He got really good at it. His wife, Kate Nix, who's a fantastic performer, musician, stage performer, and they together, the two of them run. Shit, I forget the name of it. It's got closet in the name, but I don't want to say it wrong because that's weird. Closet Champion. Closet Champion is their, they work on wrestling gear. They make custom gear for wrestlers. They also, and I still haven't seen it yet, I'm going to ask for it, they made the wrestling-themed wedding dress for a podcaster I really like. I'm 99% sure. And has also done a bunch of other stuff that I think is like really cool and very fun. But yes, those promos are great. Look, independent wrestling rules, and I love it very, very much. I got into this weird thing with a friend of mine who is currently does not like the current state of wrestling because, in their opinion, wrestling right now, too many wrestlers, their gimmick is, I'm a good wrestler. I'm a good wrestler that either people like or people don't like, and that's their only gimmick, which I can see and can understand how you would come to that as your opinion. There are, on the major wrestling organizations, WWE, AEW, there are characters. There are people who have gimmicks, and they are doing things, and you can appreciate that. And then there are plenty of people on the independent scene that really have those characters. You know, hey, like, it was weird though because he was like, oh, Attitude Era, everyone had a character, everyone had a thing, which is funny because the Attitude Era was a response to the superhero era, and most people did have characters, but a lot of them were just, their characters were, I'm an asshole and I like alcohol. But like, there are characters out there. They're doing good work, both on the independent scene and in on television in various forms. There are some wrestlers out there doing the work and making it happen. Of course, Orange Cassidy is someone that I always recommend people check out. Orange Cassidy is playing the most difficult character game possible in wrestling, which is lazy. because he's not playing bad. People play I'm a bad wrestler. Orange Cassidy, the character, is a great wrestler but he's not apathetic. He's not scared. He's just lazy. Like, his thumbs up is this. He will step on the third rope as if he was going to, climb the ropes to give a thumbs up or a yeah, and he'll just do that. He likes to wrestle with his hands in his pockets. He wears sweatpants that look like jeans. But then he comes to life. He wakes up. He snaps to. He drinks some orange juice because he's freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. He's wearing sunglasses. You break those sunglasses, he will take you down. He can do a kip up with his hand in his pockets, which is it just always looks cool. One of my favorite things is, so he has been the independent wrestling champion, which is a belt that travels from promotions and kind of builds up the different promotions. It's not like an NWA title. It's just a cool thing. So he was carrying it in a JanSport backpack because it's easier to carry a backpack than to carry the belt. And he was doing a thing where he was challenging wrestlers to title matches by just going, wanna? And then you have to infer that he means, do you want to wrestle for this title against me for this title? Which I just always found to be very funny. Yeah, it's a great gimmick. But the thing is that people who look at it, who don't who haven't thought about it, they just see it and they go, that's not a fun, he just doesn't want to do it. Oh, he's just a lazy character. It's like, no, he's just not going to waste effort. He'd rather hang out. And yeah, he has a gimmick that he maybe goes through well a little too often. It works great in an independent scene. He might need to stop doing AEW, but he'll get a flurry of offense. And his flurry of offense is often nonsense. It is like, and he'll do the, whoa. And then he'll celebrate. He'll move around a lot like he just did a real big deal. That is maybe getting a little old because I've seen it a bunch. It's a great spot, but maybe it doesn't need to be in every one of his matches. He also has a thing that he does in the indie scene. He hasn't really done too much in AEW that I love, which is he will call for a very complicated move, and then do the least amount of that move, which I really like. He'll go Meltzer driver, and then just not really do one. Just do a version of it, or he'll say he's gonna walk the ropes, and it's really slow, and he's walking the middle rope. It's still good. It's just that it is a Highlander gimmick. Well, there have been a few immortal gimmicks in wrestling, if that's what you're looking at the idea of not just undead characters, but characters that you just cannot kill. That has happened in wrestling and has been pretty cool when it does. I'm generally in favor of that kind of thing. Of just I would say my biggest issue, and Lastbrook, maybe you can back me up on this, that AEW seems like there are too many occult or cult gimmicks in AEW. There's right now 3 major cults. When there were 2, I was like, that seems like too many. And now there are 3. There are 3, one's a Dark Brotherhood, where they have like lots of people in it. Harold's here. Harold, thank you for hosting. Really appreciate that, my friend. That's nonsense. Uh, and then there's like, the Dark Order. The Dark Order is like, we are going to bring people in. We're going to build in. There were jobbers. There were people that did the job like 2 weeks ago. They're now part of it. They're not masked. They're masked people. They can rotate in and out. That's a whole thing. And the Dark Order is a terrible name. There's like the Bunny and the Blade and the whatever. And that's like are we bikers or are we a sex thing? It's okay if we are. I don't know. And then there's the new Nightmare. There's like Brandy's lady collective of whatever. And that doesn't need to be a cult. That 100% does not need to be anything other than Brandy Rhodes and her giant enforcer who is wrecking people. Now, the idea of cutting women's hair after you beat them in a match, which is just parts of their weaves, and collecting them as trophies is fucking terrifying. Awesome Kong doing that is nightmarish and awesome. And like a very cool weird thing in wrestling that I'm in favor of. But I'm not so much in favor of the idea of the whole Nightmare thing and Brandy being so... Because here's the thing. Harold's here. Oh, Harold used channel points to put sunglasses on there. I love that, Harold. That rules. I did this one here, which is fun. I said it before, but they're stealing League of Heels gimmick. There are too many heel factions. Lashbrook, because we haven't even taken account like the fact that the champion has a heel faction that isn't a cult. The only occult heel, the biggest faction isn't a cult, but it's still a heel faction. There's the Elite and Friends, but also like they seem determined to have like one would imagine. I can't stay. I just want to check in and throw those. Well, Harold, I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. Always appreciate that. Thank you for being here, of course, as well. And the host is always appreciated. And just you being here, that's nice. Hope you can come hang out on Saturday. And if not, that's okay too. So the what was it saying? Especially with AEW, like Cody. They are gonna. Looks like they're doing a thing where Cody's friends turn on him, like they're building this like alliance isn't gonna go well. Hangman Page is probably gonna turn heel on Kenny, which is good because Hangman Page's character works better as a heel. In my opinion, if your wrestling character is Hangman Page and you were a cowboy. That Hangman Page sounds like a heel. The name is Hangman. It sounds like you're come to town to hang people. That's not cool or nice. So that, in my opinion, that's a heel gimmick. But it doesn't have to be. But that's just my opinion on it. Overall, it's still like. They're still finding their footing. I'm still giving them a lot of leeway. Hire more women. Build up the women's division, please. Let's get some more faces. They need more faces that aren't like that. Maybe let's. He's a big fan of fill in the blank puzzles. Yes, indeed. Hangman Page loves word puzzles. Loves playing road trip games with the crew. Let's with AEW. Look, also maybe let's just have JR do pay-per-views and not week to week because So inherently, the issue with JR is, the big issue with JR is that he doesn't know what's going on, because his style of announcing is he likes to be surprised. So like, he wants to know the characters. He wants to ahead of time. He wants to know moves and move names, that kind of stuff. But he doesn't want to know who wins. He wants to be surprised. The problem with that is that when you're in charge of talent relations, or you're there every week and you work in the office and you're behind the scenes and you've been in the company for a long time and you're watching tapes of new people and you do all that work, well, you know everyone. So you don't need to ask questions ahead of time about people because you know it. Well, it's very clear that JR is not doing that in AEW. So he's just constantly confused about what's happening and why things are happening. And it's a bad look. And it's a bummer. Because it's just like, that's not gonna make anyone shine if one of the announcers is like, what's happening? Why did you do that? It makes sense to me. He was just so confused by the intro of the bunny, the blade, and the butcher. Yes, he was very confused. And then, like, here's the thing: he should either know who those people are, or so. Lashbrook, I don't know if he hates it or just didn't know, and is like annoyed that he didn't understand, like he doesn't get it. I just don't think he gets what's happening. And he's not doing any of the research to find out, or is interested. And it's just like, it's sometimes hard to watch. But like, also Lashbrook, I think the Blade and like the Butcher have each other's like names on their trunk. Like they are confusing. Their gimmicks are confusing if you don't know what they are. But I think a lot of JR is playing an audience surrogate, going, wait, what? And I don't want him to be an audience surrogate. I want him to be the Greek chorus. I want him to speak for me. When people are pulling bullshit, I want JR to be like, this is bullshit. Fuck off. Don't do this. Don't do this. That man has a family. I want that. I don't necessarily want, ref seems to not know what's going on there. That doesn't look tough. Like, don't be an internet, don't be a smart mark, JR. Also, because one of my favorite things about 2019 is how much Tony Schiavone is having a great time with wrestling. Tony Schiavone fell back in love with wrestling. And that is one of my favorite things that happened this year. And he's so good at it. And doing the sports announcing that he does has kept him sharp. And he's like enjoying it. Apparently he's going to be running a podcast for them, which hopefully that's going to be fun. I don't know. Maybe it won't be. But he's still so good. He has not missed a step. He's still so good at it. And it's so pleasant. I'm so happy that he's happy. I don't know. Like, his joyful discoveries are like one of the best things about wrestling right now. It's him just being like, oh, is that what we're calling it now? Oh, that's so cool. Oh, look at this guy. He said something like, he did an interview the other day where he goes, one of my favorite things is, so they'll come to me and say, hey, here's a little bit of story between these two guys that happened in Japan. And I'll get to say, we can talk about that? Yeah. We won't say the name of the company, but we'll say in Japan, and we'll talk about it. Because it matters. Because The fans that don't know, we can tell them, and the fans that do know are going to be excited that we mentioned it. And then Tony Schiavone just goes, it's like I get to treat you like you know what's going on because you do know what's going on. And if you don't, I get to guide you. And it's really fun. This is I'm not quoting word for word, but like that makes me happy. He's just like, oh, cool. So I can say that. Oh, great. So what happened there? Oh, weird. Okay, great. He's just like having a great time and like rediscovering the love of it, and it's just good. Hey, let's take a pause for the cause, folks. I'm gonna check this one thing right quick here. Got an email about a thing. A thing came in. Alright, I got to reply to this email later. I'll do that later. But yeah, we're going to do a pause for the cause, folks. This is a brief little time where I just talk about different ways you can support the stream. If that's something you like to do, I'll be real quick about it. Then we'll talk about some anime stuff. Because a thing happened in Black Clover I need to talk about. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber, throw the Bear Cave, throw the Lego, throw the Scythe emote in the chat. If you used your channel points to modify them, you can throw the modified ones. Thank you very much for being a subscriber. Reminder that you got to renew those manually if you're a Twitch subscriber, using Twitch Prime, using your coin. Bits and coins, always appreciated and would mean a lot. You don't have to, but it is great if you can. I'm going to go to my Nightbot commands here and add some commands in. First and foremost, being a subscriber here is great. Bits and coins, always appreciated. That also gifts emotes to people, which is cool. I have a Patreon. You can join that. I'm going to be doing a Q&A video this weekend, and it's a great time to join because you get a Q&A video that I'm only sending to subscribers on my Patreon. My $10 patrons just voted on what I'm going to start building next. I don't expect to finish this on Saturday. I might get close to finishing it. This is going to be some builds, but it's the next thing we'll build after, which will be fun. Let's see. So that got that. You can donate. These various ways to donate if you'd like to do that. Anything I make through Patreon, through Twitch, goes to buying kits through my donations that are here, kits and equipment. Because they're expensive. Speaking of kits, I have an Amazon wish list. You could buy something on my wish list. This was bought on my wish list. The person that bought it added the message saying that they were Justin McElroy. Did Justin McElroy actually buy this kit? I have not confirmed that. I believe he did, because I do know that the day that it was purchased, several people in the games industry retweeted, and Justin and I are on friendly terms. We know each other. So it's possible that he did. And if he didn't, then someone just said, build this big boy in my honor, Justin McElroy, which is a fun thing. Going to my wish list, I got some inexpensive things on there. $14 kits, $20 kits. Some of them are high grades. They would be easy builds. I kind of want to build the Death Army kit, the G Gundam. It's got that beam club or the rifle club, which is just nonsense. I got a couple ships from One Piece that I could build that will be fun. The Red Beret, which is just like a pretty fun high grade. They're small, but they're fun. Some cars that are the glue kits. A bunch of different things. Some Lego sets. Lots of different stuff on there. Did I put the Bartos Lupus Rex Full Mechanics Season 2 that we've never built on stream? I put that on my wish list. The Season 2s are coming out, and a lot of Season 2s look like the Season 1s, but this Bartos has the weird elbow weapons, and I kind of build that, and the different sword. I'd like to build that. I love the Full Mechanics. I also put in the very expensive Master Grade, which, I'm not expecting anyone to get, but if they want to, they could. It's expensive. Got a bunch of stuff on that wish list, and it comes in the mail, and I could come back after my trip and have stuff in the mail to build. That might be fun. You can also buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store and send me a whisper or a message, and I would definitely be happy to build that. The old USA Gundam Store. Uh, and let's see. I got a Discord. Enjoy my Discord. I have an ongoing series. This is episode 50. So I did 50 of these. I have to do 52 before, and I'm probably going to keep doing it. Background and characters. But here's background and characters number 50. It is holiday themed. It is me dealing with some stuff. It is one of the darkest ones I've ever done. I think it's good, but it is dark. And then here's a lighter thing. Pat Bear's Anime Club, episode 6. My favorite Christmas anime episodes. It's very light comparatively. We do talk about Santa's bad Pokemon companion and how that's not cool. But for the most part, it's a very light video. All right, we'll get back to building in just a moment. I'm going to drink some water. You could drink some water as well if you'd like to. Use that command for water. And I'll prep to talk about some anime. I watch some shows. Talk about some anime after I drink some water. My next video, which I'm going to shoot, my next one I'm going to shoot on Saturday. Saturday I'm doing my Q&A video, and I'm going to do that because I got to get ready for being away and not having a green screen. And I can do both those videos without it, but I like doing my anime videos with photos and stuff. So that way I don't have to bring my a green sheet or fake it or something nonsense to do that. Bring lights, and that doesn't make any sense. I would not do that. My next one is talking about my favorite shows of the year. And I made a list. My list of my favorite anime shows this year right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shows that I really liked this year. And then 3 shows that are very disappointing. We will talk about in this segment. We will talk about one of my favorite shows of the year, and two of my favorite shows of the year, and one of my disappointing shows. So let's start. Let's talk about some anime. Black Clover. Months and months ago, you've heard me on this stream talk about how one of my favorite characters is the minor character, Charmy. She uses cotton magic. Cotton magic basically just means that she can make big cotton things, but also like sheep. And for some reason, one of her spell, she loves eating, and it didn't quite make sense, but cotton magic for some reason allows her to make like chefs to help with like make food, and that's never made any sense. Well, we found out a little bit about her. Cotton Magic Kings, yes. We found out a little bit more about Charmy. So Charmy is often in a chibi form. She has like I'm in my 20s like size thing, but she's often running around as like the chibi version of herself. She like is small and says la a lot instead of like huh, and she tries to solve her problems. She's a great support person. Her food magic like gives you mana back, which it doesn't make any sense and no one understands why that's happening, but like it's been great because there are characters like Vanessa uses this thread magic that like basically it's fate magic. Well, it consumes a lot of mana. Well, that doesn't matter if Charmy's there. Charmy's going to save the day. Well, Charmy tried to solve a problem like Charmy would solve a problem, which is by offering food and trying to be nice. And that did not work. And in fact, the opposite happened. Charmy got attacked, and it looked like Charmy got hurt. And then Charmy awoken, and her giant sheep became a big werewolf-looking motherfucker that can talk. And it was revealed that Charmy is part dwarf. And she has two different types of magic abilities that are opposites because she is a hybrid of a human and a dwarf. Apparently, Charmy did not know this. Now, you would say, oh, that's a fun explanation for why Charmy is like chibi all the time and whatever. But here's the thing. When she unlocks this ability and manifests her other magic and her other book, or the grimoire, she's actually taller, and people acknowledge that how did you get taller? So when she became a dwarf, when she fully embraced her dwarf part of her heritage, she's actually bigger than she was. And that is nonsense and great. Charmy rules, and now Charmy rules even more because she's the cook and her gluttony is still there, present, her love of eating, because her new magic ability just absorbs other people's magic, eats other people's magic to power her up so that she can fight people stronger. And the incident that led to this was that she offered this dude food and he was like, no, and knocked the plate over. And she was just like, well, now I gotta beat the shit out of you. It's very good. Also, there was some other fighting that happened and some stuff that wasn't, particularly great. There was a very fun, dumb, Asta was like, hey, you can't heal me. I can't protect you while you heal me if you're not with me. So climb on my back and wrap your plants around me. And that was a very fun, silly nonsense thing. And then we saw Noelle try to be cool. Noelle was trying to be a badass and had a moment where Noelle could not be a badass enough. Is trying very hard to be a badass, but is running some issues. And then was saved by the fucking evil-looking dude, the praying mantis guy, Jack the Ripper, who has slash magic. And his motivation is he wants to cut things, and when he runs into magic that he can't cut, he figures out a way to cut it. And it makes him annoyed that he can't cut it. And when he sees somebody who is strong, he goes, hey, the leader of the Black Bulls is like, hey, check out my magic knights. They're pretty great, right? And he goes, I want to slash them. It's like, don't do that. He saves the day, and she's just like, oh, why did it have to be you? I don't want to be saved by you. Creepy and weird. He looks like a villain character, and I love that he is definitely not. He's just a guy that, fell into a good job, where he's appreciated. He's the captain of a bunch of knights, which means that he's, very skilled and, knows what he's doing, and is also, worked very hard to, be good enough at his job that he hasn't gotten fired for being a real weirdo that just wants to cut people. Because people are like, well, gosh, if that guy doesn't look like an asshole and a nightmare, but, he cuts magic up good. Anyway, I gush about Black Clover. It's only 100 and something episodes, and legitimately, here's homework for Pat Baer. Here's Pat Baer homework. I'll tweet about it. I'm going to do this, I don't know when I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll do it Saturday. Maybe I'll do it next week when I'm home. I'm going to look at Black Clover, and I'm going to find an episode for people to start on. I'm not saying start on episode 1. I'll find an episode that people can jump in on and not feel too confused. Because really, it's just there are knights, and the main dude, and the Black Bulls are the degenerate nonsense. They're strong, but they're weirdos. He's a foreigner, it wasn't always the case that commoners had magic. It used to just be that nobility had magic. Now, commoners have magic, and commoners are magic knights, and that is a point of contention. It's a whole thing. It's a lot of whole things. But there's a point to jump in, I'm sure of it, where you could come in if you wanted to check the show out. And I'm going to figure that out for people because I really love it. Another show that I love that had its last episode because it's only 12 episodes because giving me 13 would be too nice for me is After School Dice Club, which is one of my favorite shows of the year. After School Dice Club is available on Hulu. I've talked about it. I've said my piece. It really hit me emotionally. I really, really loved this episode. The game they played was very fun and silly. The motivation of our characters of just like Michi just not wanting things to change and knowing that they're going to change because Michi is a character who never had fun before. Her own like self-preservation and avoidance and being prone to being bullied and her past meant that she wondered if she'd ever have a fun time, if that was in the cards for her. And the show is her finding that fun and having friendship and going on weekend trips and having a crew of friends and meeting a boy that she spent time with who she doesn't know that dude likes her. That's okay, whatever. And like Michi a year before would have never worked on the school festival. She would have just been around and not been a part of it and not worked really hard. And so she changed, but she knew more change was coming. And it's a poignant episode. It's a lovely, poignant episode about that and about like how things are gonna change and how she doesn't have dreams and the other folks do in the crew. They're two of them want to be board game designers and one of them hasn't decided what she wants to do yet, but she has a lot of stuff she'd like to do. And the show, they realize that, well, even though they won't all be in the same classes together, there's a chance that they'll just make time for each other to play games. And they're going to start the After School Dice Club, which is the name of the show. And they borrow the name of the board game or tabletop game place that they all met in and decide they're going to be, their club is going to be called After School Dice Club, which is the name of the show. And I got emotional. Show is really good and fucking really just love it a lot. And I'm so glad that it exists. And I'm so glad that I was able to watch it. And I hope that you check it out. It is a beautiful slice of life. It is poignant in spots. It is a show that takes friendship and play and making time and personal growth and seriously. I know it really isn't about that, but I'm really worried about the lack of customers at that board game shop. Lashbrook, in my opinion, that's one of those shops that makes all their money on the weekends. Like you never see that shop on the weekends. I feel like they get a lot of like people on their lunch break. I mean, I don't know why he has an employee at night. I don't know why he has an after-school employee. I feel like she's probably just getting stuff ready for the next day because there don't seem to be customers there at night. But I feel like that business does really well on the weekends. It pays for everything else. I mean, in the last episode, we go to the board game club, the club area that the German girl's dad owns, and there's nobody there. But that's also very true of that style of place. Where like there are hours where no one's there, and there are hours where it's really busy. That show is beautiful, and I love it so much, and I hope you check it out because it's a great show. Um, and so we're only at episode 10 of uh, Cautious Hero because they took 2 episodes. Last week they took the episode off. And I can understand why they took a week off because this episode this week was all action. It was almost no dialogue, a little bit at the end, but it was mostly lots of action and lots of fight scenes. And here's the thing. Because I don't really like the humor in Cautious Hero, I very much enjoyed the action moments more because they're good. The action is solid in this show. And so I was like invested in it. It's the downtime I don't like. Some good fights, and I think I'm liking our hero a little bit more. He knows that he's got one fight left, and I think he doesn't think he's going to be able to do it. The guy that's cautious and wants to, be sure he wins is going into a fight definitely not thinking he's going to win because he barely won this last one. Does not think he's going to beat the Demon Lord, and that's interesting. They're trying desperately to do some character growth right at the end of a show that is just whatever. I'm interested in the next 2 episodes. Also, I'm interested in the next 2 episodes because a bunch of my shows wrapped up. Like, After School Dice Club wrapped up. Kemono Michi's going to wrap up if it didn't, because I can't remember what number it was, because I am half-assed watching Kemono Michi. Let me see. Yeah, that was episode 12. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that was it's over and it's fine. All right, yeah. So Cautious Hero, kind of interested to see where it goes. It hasn't been my favorite isekai. I like that it's a self-aware one. I think we're going to get more and more of those. It was fine. Kemono Michi is on my disappointed list. I don't think it was ever going to be the show I wanted to be. I don't think it could ever be the show I wanted it to be. I think the premise is too good for what is a lackluster show with humor that I don't enjoy and fights that I don't think are good, but sometimes it's okay. I think the premise is just so incredible and it's such a waste. I'm a broken record about it, but I'm just bummed. So yeah, I would not recommend that show. And I know a few people were like, "Hey, there's a wrestling anime," and I'm like, "It's not a wrestling anime. At best it's an MMA anime, but it's not. It's just a goofy. It's just a wrestling style character in an isekai." Watch the sumo wrestling show if you want a wrestling show, because that show is that's a wrestling show. That's sumo anime that isn't that good that I didn't really watch this year. And then High School Prodigies aired today. I caught that. That's the first season is over. Boy, oh boy, did they fucking tease more episodes? So this fucking show, they bring back the character you knew wasn't dead. They do a whole thing. There's some fighting. There's some character thought. There's the whole thing. And then there's a trio of characters. It's like, oh, there's a cat girl. We've seen that. There's an elf girl. We've seen that. There's a human. We've seen that. Oh, the elf's got big boobs. And there's just a shot of that cleavage. Because it's a fucking isekai. Check it out. And they're like, huh, these people are interesting. And then there's another dude that's like, these people are dangerous. Uh, and it's like, hey, check out these characters you've never seen before. We introduced these characters in episode 12. Wouldn't you want a second season so we could really get into these characters? And we're like setting up some other stuff. And remember a couple episodes where we revealed that one of the characters is actually kind of messed up. Will we ever pay that off? Probably not, because the messed up was played a bit for comedy. So we probably won't ever reference it. What I'm trying to say is they really want a second season of High School Prodigies Have It Easy Even in Another Life. I found out, I didn't know this, so I didn't know this about the show. I looked it up. The same manga artist for it, or creator, also did Chivalry of a Failed Knight, which is not an isekai, but it is a main character is rad and always will be rad. Wasn't supposed to be rad, but is rad and is going to have hardships and overcome those hardships. It came out the same... I forget. It came out the same time as another show. And I can't remember which one. So Chivalry of a Failed Knight didn't get a second season. But another show did. And it's like... So it's interesting that they didn't get that. It's like Infinite Stratus. I can't remember. But yeah, it's like a better version of that style of show of just like a regular magician or a regular magician at magic school, and a few of the other shows that are like that, of just like main character in a fantasy setting who is in a fantasy real world quote unquote setting who is underpowered but overpowered. Duo is another one of those. A bunch of those kind of shows. So that when I read that, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the isekai that guy would make after making that show. But yeah, it is fine. At the end of the day, it wasn't. This was a weird season for isekai because there were a lot of them, right? And one of them I really liked, which his last episode is on Monday, and I'm interested to see what happens with that last episode. Didn't I say to make my abilities average? Bookworm. I hear people like Bookworm. I didn't really give it a shot. I might go back to it, but Bookworm was a show that like I just wasn't feeling, and so I stopped watching it. And then Kemono Michi sucks and is a big disappointment. Cautious Hero is interesting, but also the main character is for the most part just an asshole, and I'm not interested in him succeeding all the time. Like I said, the action in this last one was really solid and like made up for me not necessarily loving the show, but I overall I haven't been like super impressed with it. And High School Prodigies is just kind of meh. Been a far better season for shonen. All the shonen is great. My Hero, Fire Force, Dr. Stone, Black Clover, One Piece. I hear Boruto. They're back. They're back from the past. So I might check out Boruto again. I might get caught up over the holiday break. I might get caught up on Boruto, which seems like a nonsense thing to say, but might happen because I was not super interested in the past stuff, the time travel element. Lashbrook says, would you say they're back to the future? Lashbrook, I would say that. I would indeed say that they're back to the future. Good for them, right? Solve their problems in the past. Have a whole thing. Jiraiya's voice actor got to do some work. And retroactively, they get to honor Jiraiya, in which they... I remember fans being very mad that there was no mention or photo of Jiraiya, no mention of Jiraiya at Naruto and Hinata's wedding, which I think is a fair thing to be annoyed about. So to have him like be in the show was kind of cool. Yeah, even though, as I said, a lot of Boruto is just like, hey, your dad was cool, right? But your dad, though. And I'm like, but what about Boruto? What about Boruto is cool? Make me care about that character. Please. Just watched the first 2 seasons of Haikyuu on Netflix. I really liked it. Worth the shot if you like sports animes. So, Andy, I tend to not love sports anime. There are some that I liked, but they are usually few and far between. Like there is a basketball anime, right? That I should like, right? Underdog kid, he's short, so he's learned how to shoot really well, and he's going to rally a bunch of misfits together to become a team and bring back the team to the whatever, and they'll do really well and overcome the odds. And I'm just like, I'm just not there. I don't know. But sometimes they click with me. It's just they don't always click with me. What's the biking anime that... Well, because there was one that was too long ago. Oh, okay. So the one that I didn't watch when it was on, but then I got real into it later, is Yowamushi Pedal, which is like unbelievably great. And I just like did it, I didn't check it out, and then it was on when I was watching anime but not interested. And then someone was just like, so they sent me a clip, and it's later in it's later in the series, but to like overcome some issues and kind of keep a momentum, it's just this tiny little guy being like, let's sing, we'll have a rhythm, and then we can keep our pace if we sing. And he's singing this theme song to an anime that's definitely a shoujo, like a girl anime. And this like buff, big dude is like, "What are we singing? What is this?" And it's a song. It's literally a song about a princess, because it's like Hime, and like they're going for, and like it's working, and people are like, "What is? Why are they singing?" And this one goes, "Is that an anime?" And then they pay it off years later. They go to Akihabara, and he's like, "That's the show we were singing the song. That's what the show is," and it's like a really fun payoff. But it is a show about friendship, and it's a show about finding what you're good at and overcoming it, and it's about the team, and there's interpersonal rivalries, and it's like really great and fun, and like. And at its core, it is definitely about a dude with positive energy changing the people around him, because they realize that, like, yeah, it's competitive and people are graduating and this was tough, but also we're having fun and we like each other more because this little weirdo is changing us. And then also, oh my God, there's a creep on another team, and he's got like weird body. He's got a weird long body, and so he's like good at it, but also he's like he's good at cycling, but a real weird asshole, and got like a weird tongue, and he tries to play mind games with people, and it's just like he's just a nightmare, and you're like, you're a high school student? What the fuck? And it's like, I don't care how good you are at cycling. Someone should be like, people should have been like, this guy's got to be off the team. He's a nightmare. I don't want to. I don't want him, or I don't want to be around him. But it's fun. Uh, Short kid who loves to play volleyball. Yes, yeah. I mean, I do like that. I do like the underdog kind of story. I tend to enjoy that. You know. But sometimes I just know that there was a baseball anime I really liked that was just about like an asshole who's a good pitcher. And it's just like a season of baseball uh, of this guy who like the person who owns the team is trying to sabotage it um, because he makes money if they do bad, and it's just this guy kind of knows that but kind of doesn't know that, and he's just like they're pulling off wins they shouldn't because he's just such a good asshole. It's kind of a fun show. I forget the name of it. I either watch it all on like Kiss Me Anime or whatever because it was never licensed. It came out in like 2008. What's that? Baseball, anime, eyes. Maybe it had eyes in the name. No. So anime, picture. I don't remember the name of it. It's not Ace of Diamond, because that's a known one. I wish I remembered the name. I'm sorry I can't remember it. I think it was like 2008. But whatever it came out, it's got like... Oh, okay, I found it. One Outs. It's called One Outs. And yeah, it was never licensed, I believe, in the U.S. But the opening song is like just complete 2008 like butt rock. Like, holy shit. But yeah, it was a double season. Yeah, it was 25 episodes. It's just one long season. It's called Barry by Pay Money to My Pain. The name of the band is Pay Money to My Pain, and their song Barry. But yeah, I don't think it's ever been in English, so you know, just got to find a fan sub. But that show is just about like a team of pretty good baseball players whose major like person on the team like is kind of getting towards retirement, and he like makes a deal with this like guy who does pitches for money to join the team, and he's like, I'll pay you my salary if we get this many wins. And so he's got to be really creative, and he has to like see the cheats that other people are doing and counter those cheats. But he's also like a real asshole. It's pretty good. I'm having a lot of trouble getting this hand together, and I don't quite know why. It's just not coming together right. I look forward to this being done. Alright, yeah. Just trying to get this done here. Okay, so we're getting close to being done. I'm going to finish this hand up, and then we'll finish the arm here. But we got one arm that we're almost done with, so we'll at least get that done. Walk away with that. And my next stream will be on Saturday, and that'll be fun. Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Till 11 p.m. Eastern, as usual. Continue to work on this, and I will be heading to South Carolina after that. Next week's schedule is up in the air. I do not know when I will stream next because I just don't know. When I know, you'll know. But it won't be until I get to South Carolina and see my folks that I will be able to test their internet. I'm going to bring an Ethernet cord so I can plug right into the router, which will give me the best possible. And I'll do a bunch of tests. I think there is a server in Virginia and a server in Atlanta, and I will try both those to see if either of those gets good signal. And hopefully one of them does, and I'll be able to stream. All right. There's the hand done. We finished this. That was annoying. I might just build the other hand off stream so that I can not waste so much time putting that together. That was annoying. We'll finish the last final touch on this kit, or this thing, which is the arm here. C7. So put that on. And all right. That is going to do it for the Build with Baer workshop. I hope you have a great evening. I'm going to run an ad. You can watch it. You don't have to watch it, but if you do watch it, maybe I'll get a couple dollars. Next stream, as I said, is Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Hope you can join me. Thanks so much for spending part of your Thursday night here with me on the Build with Baer workshop. I hope to see you on Saturday. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.